summer for Bolton Heritage Day. That was a community event. It was huge. Like, I expected, 40 people. There was probably 100 up at Rose's farm on the top of the hill. You've got a great view. And the sun was setting and the stars were already coming up, and it was just really fun. Every once in a while I get texts from kids that are like, Mrs. Cordero, I'm at the top of a mountain and check this out. To be remembered as the kooky lady who does the Star Watch. But they'll remember it. One of the greatest things about Bolton is that it's such a quaint town. And for all that we have throughout the town, and yet we are a population of 5,000. I like to think that we have a big heart and we do a lot of things, but yet we are still such a small little village. And the Star Watch was a prime example of, having people come out for a Wednesday evening with their kids and adults. Doesn't require much. If you have a telescope, great. But otherwise, you just come out and enjoy nature.
Junk basically on the bottom, but the central core of that house, we went up to the attic, appeared to be like from day one. It was hand-hewn timbers, and the way it was done with chestnut wood, which was no longer available in the 1800s, big planks up there, and also it was obvious that the roof had been built around a huge colonial chimney. So when they modernized and took out the old chimney, they had to fill in around where the old big chimney used to be. They had to fill in the roof, and you could see all of that. So it was really proof that this house may go back to 1724. And the only way to verify that would be to get core samples of the lumber. He said he would send them to Britain, where they would analyze it, and it would cost the town $10,000 approximately at that time to have it verified. Unfortunately, nothing has been done since then. And there's absolutely no interest in it, no grants or anything. That's one of the biggest struggles we have right now, is to save that house. It's the greatest heritage that we have in the town, because it's not just a revolutionary campsite. It was chosen to be the campsite for the Continental armies and the French armies because it was considered town property. It was the minister's farm. The stone walls were all built by the people in town. The land was cleared by the people in the town. And so it was like community property, and the minister opened it up to all of the Revolutionary War soldiers and everything. They camped on the farm and on the town green as they came through. And we were perfectly located. We were a day's march from the nearest biggest towns. So it was just perfect for them to always stop here. There's going to be a highway and an expressway put through Bolton, and it was going to go right through the center of town. And I wasn't a historian at that time, but suggested that we form a committee of the 5 towns, both natural heritage and historic heritage. And the first meeting of that brought out a book of the Revolutionary War encampments, and opened it up, and there's the map of Bolton, and it's got an encampment in Bolton. And I noticed right away, just from the geography, it had to be the Rose Farm. To my surprise, nobody knew that. And the highway was going right through the middle of it. I wrote up a description of it, showing the French map, the current topographical map, and where the highway's going to go. And Susan sent it out to the ambassador of France and to the consulate to our city. And we said that the only way to do something about that is for you to ask the governor to protect this heritage. And within 3 weeks, both of them wrote to the governor and said, this is Franco-American heritage, would you please protect it? So it died, the road. Then I became the historian after that.
I think we need to get them outside, because there's something that happens to people when you get them outside on a piece of property and they're listening to the birds, or they're listening to just the quiet, and they're not seeing cars and they're not seeing houses, and their powers of I think their senses just get heightened when they're outside, rather than sitting in a room and telling them it's so nice to be outside. You actually get them out there. That's when they come alive. So we have, since the Land Trust started in 2001, we've held a series of events, 5 or 6 events every year, all different types of events. Maple sugaring walk, number of walks on the Rose Farm, number of walks on the Lombardy Ridge Preserve, different places in town. and picking strawberries and at Larry Pease's farm, and that is really how we're making the connection. I belong to the Congregational Church, and it's been dawning on me how many hymns have to do with nature. And I think that this connection, the spiritual, natural connection, has been in people's minds for hundreds of years. Jonathan Edwards